The sponsor of this episode is BetterHelp.
Listen, I know you guys got a lot going on too, but just ever since Lucky ran away, man, I just been hurting. Like there's like this giant void inside me that I can't seem to fill, and I try and fill it with anything. Food, other people, friends, my own voices, you know what I mean? And I'm just sad, and I'm sweaty, and I'm lonely, and I'm itchy, and I'm scratchy, and I got a rash, you know, and I'm just not feeling good about anything.
Didn't that happen like 2 years ago? Don't trauma dump on your friends. Trauma dump on a professional. BetterHelp makes finding a therapist easy, affordable, and all online.
Make your brain your friend with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/Neds today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Neds.
Exciting news, guys!
Oh,
We are here to announce
that the Neds nudes have finally leaked.
No, dude. We're doing Neds Pod Live! Hey, let's go!
No more of this screen action. We want to see you in person.
Okay, space is limited at the Regent Theater in downtown Los Angeles.
Monday, November 13th, we're bringing Neds Declassified, Podcast Survival Guide, and all its insanity. Monday, November 13th, in person.
All the smells.
All the nostalgia.
All the realness. Come see us. Tickets are available now. Link in the description.
Yeah!
I just had to make sure.
Yeah!
Duckling over here.
We in here.
Stop.
Neds Declassified Podcast
Survival
Survival
Guide.
Blah, 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 blah.
Go.
Listeners, viewers, we have a special guest today. We knew you as Jennifer Hyatt.
Uh-huh.
Full name Jennifer Hyatt Tedmori.
Uh-huh.
Who
played
Doris
Doris
Tremblay
Tremblay.
of the Huge Crew.
Woo!
The female bully on Neds.
Yup.
Yeah.
Dude.
And lover of Ned.
And lover of Ned.
That is the one question I get the most is like, are you still in love with Ned?
And
I usually don't answer that question.
Ooh, too many feelings.
but tell
Too
me
many
now.
feelings. Too many feelings.
And
I don't know. Now seeing you, it's a little bit different. Maybe a little bit more than I did before.
hey, we're all adults now.
We are adults now.
By the way, can I say the Huge Crew to describe you is hilarious because you're so small.
Tiny.
You are
Yes.
so small.
Dainty. She's
and
dainty.
have
Not
been,
only that,
and
you
have been
You
so
literally come
small.
up to like my neck.
Yeah.
Most people tell me I look so much taller in person, and I'm like, no, I can't even touch the top shelf. It's really,
Yeah.
She got that
really
big
sad.
energy, though.
You got that big
dick energy.
Commanding.
Yeah,
Big dick energy.
BD for sure.
BDE.
Which is why I think I played Doris so well.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So well.
Really well, to be honest. We just
Thanks.
got in.
Too well.
You know, we've been doing these rewatches, first time watching these episodes in so fucking long, and like I've finally gotten to some of your main like episodes in season 1, and like yeah, you crushed that shit.
Thanks. Thanks. I tried. I can barely watch those episodes. They're very hard to watch. Although my nieces watch them now, and she like kind of rolls my eyes or her eyes at me, and I'm like, "What's going on?" She's like, "The overacting on this show is," and I'm like, "You know what?
Hold on.
This is top tier
That's the
entertainment.
entire show.
That's the entire
Don't get mad at her
show.
niece. Don't get mad at her
I'm
niece.
about to
Don't get
slap
mad
your
at my
fucking
niece.
niece.
I got offended. I was like you could do better.
Well, and hold on. The overacting is the tone of the show. It must be overacted.
She's just hating. It's totally fine.
How old is she?
She's
love
like
it. I love
12.
it.
Oh, I'm gonna slap her.
I'm a
I'ma
slapper
slap
too.
that little girl.
I'm a slapper too. I was like, you get up there and go on set and tell me you don't do anything but that when everybody else is acting
And also,
It's a skill.
also, you go on Neds and act subtly.
Okay.
No, not
There's
gonna
no
happen.
way. It's not
Not
going to
gonna
happen.
Wrong.
It's never going to happen.
All right, so I have a question.
Yeah.
Were you a bully
no,
at
I
any
was-
point in your life?
I was severely bullied my entire life.
Okay,
Oh.
tell us about that.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think part of it was my ADHD. Is my ADHD? I think.
being bullied?
Wow. Way to just be a trigger.
Fucking
piece of
nerd.
crap.
Fucking right in on it. You wasted
Fucking
no
nerd.
time.
No time. Go on.
You know, I just. Growing up, I was always a little bit different and a little bit weird. I was the kid that could never sit in her chair. And so people always kind of I always struggled in social settings, and I was always on and off medication because ADHD medication at the time was a thing. And so, especially, you know, on my time on Neds, I was on and off, and so it made me socially awkward. Like I would just not know how to interact with people, or I'd be super quiet, or I would blurt out and say uncomfortable things. I remember something I said to you back in the day, and like I think I was like, I know you don't like me. And I remember Devon going like, no, I have no problem with you. And I was like, no, I just get this feeling. And remember, ADHD, there's like this rejection, sensitivity, dysmorphia stuff.
And that time in our lives is
that's so real.
Insecure time.
And I also wasn't told that I was going to be called the huge crew when I went on.
Oh, so
and
that
I remember
impacted
you
you
mentioning it on one of the pods earlier.
Yes.
And I said, I am so... Can I cuss on here?
Yeah.
I'm so fucking glad that Lindsay at least acknowledged it because it fucked me up.
Okay, that's what I wanted to say because I didn't know like quite the right way to like lay it down. I didn't know if it was like
because it wasn't your experience.
No, you said it
because it wasn't my
perfectly.
experience, but it was something that I like look back on and I was like, okay. And so when you found that out, like did it hit you like a gut punch? Did you kind of was
gut
it kind of
punch
like
for sure? I think every woman kind of has their long history of like body image issues, and I come from a long line of an extended family with bad relationships with food, either one way or the other, obsessive wise. And so that, in addition to being 14 or 15 years old, and at first I was told I was coming on just to be the female version of Loomer.
right?
And then all of a sudden this huge crew term started getting thrown around, and I like didn't understand it. And then I just kind of got over it and moved on, but like it started to hit me, and I mean I developed a
It was I'm so
no
sorry.
go
It was a very pointed reference.
Yeah, and I always tried to be like, well, maybe they mean like there's so many of, and I was like, no, like there's no other way, there's no other meaning to the huge crew than you know. And I had two actresses, Jeremy and Kathy, who they were grown adults, though. I think they were in their
grown,
like 30s.
Yes, they were grown people.
And so it's possible that they, you know, I just reached out to them like a week ago, and it's possible that they felt differently because as an adult actor, I feel like you have the ability to separate yourself from the character that you're playing.
Especially on a kid show,
Yeah.
you're like, cool, the huge crew, I'm a grown person, whatever.
Now, fucking call me fat all day. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. It's a job.
But
A gig is a gig.
how isolating though to for those two people to have been older than you and to not be having the same experience
Well, I
on set
also
as you.
feel like it might have been different if you had been told in the breakdown, if it was upfront, like
Right.
Totally
auditioning
different.
for the huge crew. Like you would have processed it going into the audition. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah.
I'm actually shocked that that wasn't part of like your audition.
yeah,
You know, 'cause
just rewatching that was a little like I noted it. Like
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like,
yeah, the huge
Yeah.
crew's a
I don't
little
love that.
rough of a name.
Yeah.
And so you say you developed a
Eating disorder on set.
Oh,
Pretty
dang,
gnarly
I'm
one.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry
It's
to hear
like
that.
I really wanted to. I hear you guys talking and reminiscing on all of like the good times I know you guys have had. My time, unfortunately, wasn't as flowers and daisies as everybody else's. Mine was kind of dark.
Yeah.
And so and that was isolating in and of itself. And I feel like I don't know. I've always kind of struggled to fit in. I think I just made myself more of an outcast, if that makes sense. Like I leaned into, I was like,
that
I'll
character.
just avoid everybody. And so I kind of found myself, like, I know you guys played games and like did all these parties and stuff. And all I remember is like hanging in my dressing room by myself.
Damn.
And it was really hard.
I thought you were
It was
too
really
cool
hard.
for us.
yeah.
No, I mean
No
that was my
way.
perspective.
No
yeah.
way.
Truly, like my only memories were just like Jennifer was great, Jennifer was cool.
She came out
Jennifer
executed,
was
and then-
distant. Would come crush, and then like
Yeah.
was kind of distant from
I
us.
remember like a distance to her.
Yeah.
You're super talented, but I remember not like knowing you very well. Like not feeling like there was a time like at cut that we really
I feel like I tried, but
Yeah.
it's very possible that I maybe just made it, I don't know, more uncomfortable for
No,
people.
I mean, I don't think it was uncomfortable for me. I just don't think that we had that, like, we're running up together at lunch and, like,
No.
running
And
you know.
I loved working
Yeah.
with you. Like,
And
my
you
scenes
were
with you
lovely.
were my favorite.
Right?
Lindsay was like, Lindsay
had some good
off
ones.
in between takes was my
Yeah.
absolute
Yeah.
favorite.
Yeah, baby.
No, it
We
makes
had a
sense
good
now.
time.
It was never uncomfortable on our end. It makes sense now that you were feeling some type of way. So you were distant, but from your own kind
Yeah.
of
Being
perception.
cast as that character.
Yeah, true.
It's like,
Yeah.
because I hung out with Jeremy more than I hung out with you on set.
For
Like, I
sure.
remember me and Jeremy, like, but I think Jeremy, like, spent time in Long Beach, too. So I think we, like, drove up to set one time. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
But-
Yeah, I think she's moving back to Long Beach. I
she
probably
is?
shouldn't be like publicizing.
Oh,
Yeah.
now everyone knows her
Address.
whereabouts.
Long Beach is huge, so good
It's
luck
big
finding
place,
her, you
yeah.
know. But yeah, no, it was a really tough time.
The sponsor of this episode is BetterHelp.
Man, I am really struggling right about now. I normally don't make these things a big deal. I just don't know where to go or who to turn to. A lot of my beliefs, they just don't, I don't know if I align with them anymore. I've been losing friends, we're getting older. I feel like my body doesn't work the same way it used to, and maybe something about my brain chemistry, and it just hurts. All of it. I want to feel loved. I have a lot of people around me, but I don't feel adequate. I want purpose, and I don't know what that is anymore. So that's why I'm coming to you.
You're the only person I can talk to. You got any feedback? Give me something.
Tired of talking to yourself? Talk to a professional. BetterHelp makes finding a therapist convenient, affordable, and all online. Therapy is simply one of the best tools we can use to check in with ourselves, navigate our relationships, and overall enhance our quality of life. And we all know, life is a lot. So start your therapy journey today with BetterHelp.
Make your brain your friend with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/Neds today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Neds.
Damn,
And
dude.
So like when you would get called to be on an episode, because like there were a smattering of episodes that you did, right? So you'd get called to be on one. What was the feeling when you'd get called in? Was there an excitement mixed with like a
I was
a dread?
always excited because I love to work. I
Yeah.
love to perform. Acting will always be my first love. And so it was just another chance to like get good at what I was doing. And I
Yeah.
felt like with each episode I was learning more and more and more. But yeah, I feel like at a certain point it felt a little bit uncomfortable just because I was like, I'm going into this environment and I feel, you know, I think you mentioned at one point you being covered up with jean jackets and stuff, and they would do that to me too. And I was like, so not only are they padding clothing on me, but then they're covering up like parts of my body I like.
right?
Like this is, and then I just always felt instinctively closed and like uncomfortable.
Right.
Dang.
And yeah, it got to a point, and then I don't know why I wasn't in the third season. That's another question I get all the time. I have presumptions, but it got pretty worse after that when I wasn't back for the third season, and I was like, my eating disorder like took a deep turn. But it was necessary. I mean, I think I needed that time to. I mean, this business in Hollywood gets rough, especially with that stuff, you know, and you lose a little bit of yourself the more you're in it, and you kind of lose sight of what matters. And it wasn't until I kind of removed myself from Hollywood for a little bit that I was like, oh,
Takes it.
I'm not some fat ogre. Like I'm out of my freaking mind.
right,
You know what I mean?
Dude, it blows my mind every time I travel away from LA. I actually get a little bit hit on then. Like it's a little bit like nice guys. Like, and I'm like,
probably
actually
get
beautiful.
hit on a
wow.
lot.
No, I promise you I don't, but like I totally understand the gauge of in LA. It's like, no, you're a beautiful person. You know what I mean? And people, You know,
you could be a 10
respond to that.
anywhere else and you're 2 in LA. And
Exactly.
you're like, Jesus.
Whole world.
Yeah.
Whole world.
What is this?
And as a
Like,
young woman in the industry, like that's the hardest insecurity time anyway. In
Yeah.
any
For
place.
anybody of that age. Yeah.
Those teenage years, like young
rough.
girl, young guy, like those are hard years, and then stack the fucking awareness of the industry on top of it. nah.
It's insane.
What was the journey of your eating disorder, and how did you like find help for that?
My mom caught me. So I don't want to disclose my method because that's how I discovered mine. So I'm just not going to say what I did. But I will say I was taking about 60 pills a day. Singing. Like, I got up because your body builds up a tolerance, and I'm probably giving some of it away. But like, I was taking 30 pills in the morning, 30 pills at night. And my mom discovered this like trash bag of all of the like plastic wrappers of the pills I was taking because I didn't want to just throw them in the trash and have her discover them. So I like hid them in my closet. I remember coming home from like an audition one day, and she was like, they were out, and she was like, "We're getting you into therapy," which didn't necessarily help right then in the moment, but it definitely forced me to take a serious look at what I was doing. And I distinctly remember like there were some nights where I think it was causing me heart issues. And so I remember going, like, I'd be in my bathroom at night, like crying, hoping, begging, pleading to just wake up the next morning because I didn't know if my heart would just like give out.
Right.
And promising myself that if I woke up the next morning that I wouldn't do it again. And like having that nightly talk with myself and just going right back to it. And you're just like, wow, I learned absolutely nothing from that scare that I had. Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
What
is it gonna take?
What is it gonna take? I'm not sure. And I think, you know, when I went to college, it got better. I mean, I went back and forth and then I finally, I think in like 2017 kind of went on a, okay, I'm going to do this for my health. I'm going to be whatever size I am, but I just want to I want to have a good diet. I want to eat like, you know, and I want to just be healthy and active and strong. And that's how I did it. I can't really diet, like fad diets or something I just can't do. Like Ozempic's not going to be a thing. I'm just not taking or doing any of this crazy madness stuff. So, but yeah, I think it took me not being in the industry for a couple years to like get a break and realizing I can love myself and love my body in the way that it is and not really care. I mean, I didn't show like my midriff or my arms for like years. It wasn't until like 5 years ago that I was like ever could be seen in a tank top. It's why I dress in the way that I dress now.
And you kill it.
Oh
Thank
my
you.
God.
Your social media?
Thank you.
Yo,
I
I'll be like,
dress as an
hey.
apology to my younger self, you know?
that's sweet.
So, I mean, I'm sure people are like, what is this chick fucking doing? But
No,
like,
no,
I
no,
do it all the
no,
time, you
no.
know?
Shit.
No.
I never got a chance to do it when I was younger. I would
Yeah.
always be in like oversized
100.
sweats and hiding my body at all times because I was worried. Yeah, it got to a point where I'd be doing auditions and I'd have full on like mental breakdowns and be like, God bless my agent and my manager who like tried to talk me through it. But it got to a point where I was like, I'm afraid I'm going to be judged and people are going to call me, you know, fat and ugly. And I coming from the person who I've always kind of been told by agents and managers at that point before I went on Neds that I was never going to be pretty enough to be a feature or a lead, or I was always I had to be comfortable being the quirky ugly girl or the fat friend. And you're like, awesome. So that mixed in with this like led to just like me completely losing control or feeling like I was losing control.
I feel for you. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, it was it was a little bit of a
That
dark
shit
time.
is so rough, especially at that age and at that time in our industry, especially like you were a kid, but in terms of the industry and people's perception of you and professionals' perception of you, agents, managers, like you're a type and they literally tell you this kid. I know so many girls who had this where they're like, well, you're not a lead. So yeah, accept that you are this type, and you'll read the breakdown, and it's like fat and funny, or like
This is how people see
quirky,
me.
but no guys would ever like her. Like
Right?
it's just like, jeez, man, to put that into like a 14-year-old kid's brain,
Psyche,
guys
yeah.
and girls,
And
have
especially
this. Like,
you said it best, like back then in 2000s, early
Yeah,
2000s was when like Jessica Simpson had that photo, right? And everybody was calling her a cow, and you're like, oh my.
what?
Do you
Like,
remember
is this
the
what a cow is?
scandal
No.
of that? And she
Yeah.
was literally just wearing a belt with jeans.
That's it. And
that
so
was
like
insane.
that was our time,
Yeah.
right?
That
To
was
be
wild.
that was considered not not fit or
Acceptable,
thin.
yeah.
Like cocaine chic was a thing.
Yep.
And so yeah, back then I wish I would have had some perspective. Yeah, I do.
That would help too.
I did get offered some on set of Neds one time.
Neds?
What?
On Neds? No. No way. I have to know. I would love to stop her here.
What?
But I
would
want to
love
know.
to stop
Tell
her,
us
but I
about
wanna know.
the Neds cocaine.
Cocaine on Neds? Wait.
Oh, speed. Is that the same?
No.
Oh, no.
That's
Yes,
not
it
the same.
is.
That's different.
No, it's
That's
not.
worse. No, it's not.
No,
Speed is not cocaine.
worse.
No.
Yes,
That's
it's
what
worse.
No,
It's
cocaine
worse.
is worse. No, cocaine is
No,
worse because
I
speed is
promise
like
you-
speed's Ritalin. Speed is amphetamine
Oh.
pills.
Babe, I promise
But
you.
still.
I'm not talking about the
That's what
chemical.
my
I'm
mom
talking
said, and
about
I was like,
someone
you know?
offering you a speed pill.
Cocaine is more respectable.
No, so different. Speed pills are prescribed by doctors.
It's
I'm
like
not
Adderall?
saying it's not
Right,
work.
right,
Yes,
Cocaine
like
was
Adderall.
once prescribed by doctors.
I'm
I
saying
didn't know.
Adderall is
Is that true? Can we fact check them, Dylan? Is speed Ritalin?
Yeah.
It sounds like it is.
Speed is Adderall. It's
He
amphetamine.
looked over,
So
he's like-
my point is
And
that
he's like, I know, I got some.
my point is that is
Okay, so
less
totally different, never
scandalous
mind.
than someone
Way
being
less-
That's
like,
way less
"Hey
scandalous.
kids,
Okay.
snort this powder." That's
Yes.
a lot
Unfortunately,
more
there was
intense.
no cocaine on Neds. It was
Damn.
only speed.
That's
Damn.
frightening.
Sorry.
I mean, still gnarly. But
Sorry.
cocaine would have
Who-
like blown my
can I
fucking
ask?
mind.
No, that would have blown my mind.
It was a crew member.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Ooh.
it
It
was
wasn't-
definitely a crew member.
It was
Well, it wasn't
Reed.
It wasn't
It was
Jared.
Reed.
It has to
say
have been
Reed.
Reed. It's only
Don't
God.
throw Reed under the bus. Reed was a weed smoker.
No,
not
but Reed was
speed.
just so cool. I just
It was-
figured he had it.
It was Kathy,
Well, oh, wait.
the other Houston.
No.
Oh, the other
Are you serial?
Oh, well.
Kathy.
Well, that was just an exchange amongst friends.
Yeah, that was. You guys are all on an equal playing
No,
field. to her.
what was the context? What was the context?
I know, but to her is what I'm saying.
No, what was the context? Why did she say it was?
Yeah.
Were you
I think
cramming
I
for a
said
test
I
or
was.
something?
I think I said I was like struggling on set. And she's
Oh, I'm
like, "You want some
tired, and she's
speed?"
like,
and I
"You
was
want
like,
some speed?"
"Did this
Just
just
like
happen?"
the good doctor said it.
How old were you on Neds?
15,
Oh.
Yeah.
14,
Same.
15.
Yeah.
Yep. Lindsay.
Oh yeah, you guys
Lindsay
were
age.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you guys keep
Oh
making
my
such a
God.
huge fucking deal about this 1 year and 10 months and 2 years and 1
Difference?
week.
It's 2
Hey.
years and
Oh, and the
1
age
year,
difference?
10 months for you
round
and
up
I.
to 2.
No,
and,
no,
and,
no,
and,
no.
and we don't make a big deal about it. It's just the facts. At that time,
They
at
literally
that time,
go. They literally go. Oh yeah,
15
your
is
age.
different than
your
13.
age. Your age. They're 32. I'm 34.
At
Your
that
age.
time,
No, but what I'm saying
What?
is what I'm saying is at that time, 15 and 13.
No, I
it's
felt
just
like
different.
I felt like you were
just
untouchable.
different.
I felt like you. Well, I mean, you two kind of, but I was with you all the time. But because you guys did
that's what
have
I'm
a
saying.
little edge on us,
That's what I'm saying.
I was
At
like,
that time,
they
that
have
age
different
gap was
interests,
different.
especially for ladies. They're just way cooler. There's no way you could.
Except
I
for
would have
Lindsay.
gotten in
When
on
I
the
look
Halo
over
match
and
for sure.
I see how short
killing
you
Halo.
are.
Dude, that's what I'm saying.
In computer labs, when I really saw it, I
I'm
was like,
up to your
Lindsay,
shoulder in the first
Did
season.
I think that I could just pick you up in a little basket like a little baby?
I think that was part of the attraction for
think
you.
so,
was
too.
that like I could be a
That I could
little
control
baby.
you.
Yeah. But then I caught up.
you caught up.
It all makes
then I-
sense,
Makes sense
now.
Yeah.
So, what was life after? I mean, coming out of the dark cloud a little bit of the eating disorder, and like I know
Sorry,
that's
we
that
took a really
no,
dark
no,
turn.
please, we love that.
Yeah,
We
this
want
is
the
real,
truth.
dude.
And I
we
know
want
that,
to know.
that took a long time, but when did life start to like take an upswing for you again, or you got new perspective?
When I went to law school.
I know she's a lawyer.
I'm a lawyer.
Claire Sawyer,
I am a lawyer.
lawyer.
I'm a lawyer.
She took the reins.
Okay, bring it. What is that?
No, I had. I mean, I
Can
did.
you get us residuals? do some law
Probably.
for us,
I
please.
probably could.
Get on it. You
Yeah,
get a cut. I
there's
give you a
got to
cut.
be some fucking laws, you
gotta be
know.
some
I've
laws
definitely
you can-
thought about how you could try and get your reboot back, but we'll talk about that
Oh, get
later.
the reboot back.
Oh.
I just want the money. Go ahead.
So I did. I kind of hit this crossroads in my life where I either could have kept pursuing acting and kept driving myself crazy, or I could have just kept going. College was never out. Like, it wasn't an option for me. My parents were like, college is a must, and so I went to Cal State Long Beach.
Hell, say hey,
Hey, it's a great school.
No.
What's the mascot?
We just
You're like the
changed it.
sombreros or
It's not the
something?
Niners anymore.
We were the Niners, but now we're like the Sharks.
Ooh,
Strange. They
I
have this
like
whole
the
vote.
Sharks.
And,
Sharks?
And they selected the Sharks.
Sharks
They
is
selected the
cooler
Sharks.
than the Niners.
The
Like when we
49ers,
went
yeah.
and filmed that thing there, like there's hats
Yeah,
around
it
for like
didn't make
old
sense.
gold rush hats. Like
Yeah,
I
it
don't
makes
get why
no
in Long
sense.
Beach.
no,
because we don't have a football team.
Yeah.
And doesn't
Sharks,
make sense.
Sharks is cooler.
Sharks
All right,
is
so you
cool.
went to Cal State Long Beach for undergrad?
Yeah. I hit a crossroads where I was like, well, I can keep torturing myself with auditions that I keep crying about, but I think this is indicative of maybe I need to like take a little breather. And my sister had gone to law school. My parents did not go to law school, so there's no legal background other than my sister's my role model. And so I was like, I can totally go to law school. I also kind of wanted to model for Playboy back in the day. My mom said, if you go to law school, you can do whatever you want. And so I was like, well, everybody said I'm not going to law school. So what? Like it's hard? I'm just kidding. So yeah, I decided to go to law school, and it was probably the best thing I could have done for my mental health. Best and worst thing I could have done for my mental health in terms of like loving myself, knowing my capabilities, finding my self-confidence again. Law school completely changed my brain and my outlook on life, because I became so confident internally and in my head that I was like, I don't care what I look like anymore. Like none of this matters, right? You know, I'm smart and I'm capable. I also, because of my ADHD, a lot of people told me I wasn't good at school because I couldn't sit still, and I probably wasn't going to make it very far in life. I remember, I think in preschool, one of my teachers had told my mom, like, she has a serious problem. She's going to need a lot of help one day. Like, stuff like that I always got. And so
Projecting.
it's like, yeah.
I hate when people label
Jesus.
kids, bro.
On a child?
On a
Let a
child.
kid be, man.
I tell my mom, she's like, I don't remember that. And I was like, funny, you're the one that told me. So isn't it funny how parents are like, I don't remember it
I don't
that
remember
way.
fucking you up.
Yeah, okay, cool. But yeah, no, I went to law school, which was 3 years, and then I worked for a Major League Baseball team for 6 years.
Wow.
6 or 7 years, and now I'm still in sports and entertainment.
Dude.
Why did you say it was one of the worst things for your mental health?
It's really stressful. It's a really taxing career and profession that I don't think people talk about as much, because people assume lawyers just make a lot of money.
Right.
But it's really taxing on people's mental health. Like, you have to be the confidant and somebody's advocate, and if you fuck up in the slightest, like, somebody's life or money or liability could be on the line. So like, it's just really high stress.
What kind of law?
I do a lot of corporate law, so I do a lot of contracts and IP. I wanted to go because I wanted to represent musicians, because I'm a huge music buff. And so I was like, I would love to represent. And then I realized how flawed the record industry is. And I said, I'm not working for one of the big four. Is it the big three now?
Man.
I'm not going to. I did royalty accounting for a little bit, and I was like, oh my God, these musicians make
being
absolutely
fucked.
nothing and are being absolutely fucked, and there's nothing they can do about it. Like, I realized, like, I did royalty accounting. One of the artists was Belle Biv DeVoe. I don't know if you
absolutely.
that
What?
girl is.
Poison.
And to see like the pennies on the dollars that they were making for streaming was insane.
Oh, yeah.
And
Wow.
so it was also kind of discouraging, because I'm like, I could either go out on my own and maybe represent these artists, but like, it's a small guy going up against monsters in the music industry. And until that systemically changes, it's virtually impossible to change it.
Yeah.
You gonna throw rocks at a mountain?
Dude,
Right?
and then
Like, hey, over here.
dude, with AI now too, like, where these companies can literally just take your voice and then just modulate it however and make the best song you've ever recorded without you even having to record anything. Why pay an artist now? So I know that's going to get really messy. It's going to be very hard to be a lawyer for the little guys in the music industry.
I was two of my best friends from law school. One works in the video game industry. The other works for the biggest social media company ever. But I asked them both. I posed the question. I was like, has anybody talked about what we're doing copyright wise with all this AI stuff?
Yeah.
Like, if AI is generating a derivative work from something that's originally not theirs, like, how are we? And everybody looked at me like, it's like, so we're just not going to ask the question
Wild
then?
Wild West.
Cool.
Well, it's gonna get played out over the next few years. There already is, I think, a few lawsuits on copyright from writers, from novel writers,
Really?
who OpenAI trained
On their books.
I
on
need
their
to-
books to write. So like, it's gonna play out, But ultimately, I think all
Can
the
you send me
creators.
those articles?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I was just hearing about it on the radio. But ultimately, I think all creators are gonna lose out. Even if, say, those writers happen to win their case on their copyright, overall, it just seems like the AI is just gonna, like, you're not gonna be able to stop it.
No.
It's going to be hard. And then also just considering ownership in general for IPs, it's messy on the internet.
Already.
Exactly.
Because everyone's doing these stitches on
Yep.
TikTok and yanking this. And
Yep.
I made it like a derivative
Yep.
work, but I adjusted it just enough. I forget what you call that. Fair use.
Mhm.
Because I have made commentary on top of it. So I'm not just, it's going to get really weird. And we're going to have to figure out what ownership really means and can it be bought and sold. Because I feel like some people, like, lives have been ruined. Like, these artists have just reached a certain pinnacle but not been paid for it. And the producers are just running away with the money, and there's nothing they can do about it.
Yeah, it happens all the time. It's
You'd
crazy.
be shocked. I mean, you probably know, like, the amount of money that some of the biggest artists make on streaming. And it's sad. It's really sad because you're like, people assume that these people make a lot of money and they in fact don't. And they have to keep up appearances.
Yeah,
too.
the industry changed a while ago where, like, it's not about your stream. You have to find other ways to make money in music. It's not plays. It used to be.
Your
Used to be
performance,
you would
for
sell
sure.
CDs and you would get on the radio and those royalties were actually good. And now it's like, nope.
Are you a musician or musical?
No, I grew up in musical theater,
Mm.
but I sing just for fun.
Yeah.
Now, you know?
Yeah.
I don't really. I had a bad stint of not ever singing in front of anybody because I had
Aw.
serious, like, performance anxiety. And in the last 2 years, I think since COVID, I've been, like, undoing all of these fun, like, deep-seated wounds that I have. And one of them, my therapist was like, I have a voice coach I want you to meet. And, like, I cried through the entire first meeting with her. But then I came back and we were able to work through getting over that little thing.
Yeah.
And when you get on the back end of it, you're like, oh, this is so silly. I was, like, freaking out over absolutely nothing.
Dude, how liberating too. I find, like, look, like, yeah, I make music that I put out, but that's like a different track. All of us as humans, I think, have a capacity to sing and should feel free to sing. Like, it's part of our humanity. You can't judge yourself against fucking Adele. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, you can't hold it against Whitney Houston, but
No.
like, sing. It feels good and it's part of our
Explore
humanity.
your body.
Yeah,
your
it's part of our
anatomy,
instrument.
Your vocal
Yeah.
cords.
The sound therapy that comes from, like, the vibration
Yes.
internally of your body. Like,
Yes.
Kundalini really brought me back into the sound and the just how healing those vibrations can be.
Facts.
So healing.
Yeah.
And comfortability, you know, in your own person. Like, your voice is such a representation of you. I find it so sad even when children don't want to get up and speak in front of people because their whole life is saying, oh, quiet down, use your inside voice, and when I teach these, like, acting courses, you know, it's like, why is projection such a hard thing? These kids think that whenever I am loud, someone's going to tell me to shut up, or my voice is not beautiful, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up in musical theater, so I was always taught to project so the person in the very back of the
back
theater
here,
could
yeah.
hear you. But that transcended into the loud voice that I have. And so I'm sure people are, like, taken off guard. But, like,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh, I just love all of this.
Yeah.
So
Me
you're
too.
a lawyer. You work.
yeah.
You lawyer it up.
So now I'm actually, because the pandemic hit and I left my 10.5-year relationship and I left my job and
Woof.
yeah.
What?
So some good.
Give me about that. I want to know what the 10-year thing. Give me
some
that.
good life changes
Give
from
me
the
that.
pandemic lockdown.
So the 10.5-year relationship, I tried leaving like a year prior to the date that I actually left, and he former addict of 14 years, and there's, like, nothing to say against him at all, but there were some fundamental behavioral things that I just couldn't get through with him on, and it was exhausting. And so I was like, if you're not willing to actually, like, seek therapy on your own, not just have me go with you, and this being a couples thing, because I have my own, I need space. And then he wouldn't respect my space.
not tight.
And then it was turned into this whole diabolical, every time I tried to, like, I packed my stuff up and left. And then it was, I'm gonna and then
Not tight.
which then I felt super guilty about because I was afraid he
Shouldn't
was
have
going to
to, though.
either
Nope.
A, relapse from his 14 years of sobriety
Yeah.
or do that
That's
alternative.
his problem.
I realized
But,
after
I
a
mean,
long time it was
holy
a
crap,
his problem.
10 years in with somebody to like.
No, it's tough. It's tough.
I think I do want to like emphasize this. I think a lot
Manipulation.
of people at home can relate to this, and I think a lot of people have been in these relationships. And I know you know it now, but I want to say to the people at home, dude, if someone holds you hostage in your relationship and threatens to end their life if you leave them,
Oh, it's unstable. No,
leave them.
you have to.
Like
Leave
you
them.
have to.
You have to.
That's not love. That's not a relationship. They're holding you hostage. They're making you in charge of whether no,
Yeah.
dude.
No.
That's not boundaries. That's not respect. That's not love. Like it's heartbreaking and it's scary. Try and whatever, but get the fuck out. When it gets to that point, like that's no longer a loving relationship.
No.
Like it's turned into something else.
Yeah.
And you can't stay, even though of course people do, and I get fucking why.
Oh,
So it
I
took
mean,
you a year to get through that and finally go.
It was like a daily fight, and then we
I'm
shut
leaving.
down. Mhm.
Dude, that I experienced that with my boyfriend. He like I was in this crazy way. I'd just been taking all the Adderall, and I couldn't stop. But he was gonna leave. He was moving out, like with it, and I was like begging him,
Yeah.
like please, crying, doing every trick in the book I could to get him to stay. And he goes, "All you have to do is just give me the rest of the Adderall." And I was like,
Not that much.
not that trick.
I can do everything but,
But
that. And then he left, and I remember just being in a fucking ball on my bed, like so distraught, but so glad that I had the Adderall.
Which is
Oh, hey, priorities, baby.
Lindsay, I love you so much.
It was so sad, dude.
Oh my god, it's so,
sad.
tragic.
But I empath. Like, I mean, the
so
mind.
glad I had the Adderall.
The mindset that you have to be in, I get it, and it sucks. Like that person on the other end just trying to like, ugh.
And it's manipulation because you feel responsible. Like it's
Totally.
awful. What an awful thing
Yes.
to put on your supposed person.
Yo,
And then he dropped on me like a month before I left. Like, did anybody tell you that as a child I was diagnosed with BPD with narcissistic tendencies? And I went, no, you never told me that. And he's like, yeah, I did. It's like, I think I would remember
that information.
because all of this makes sense now.
Yeah.
But the fact that you never even told me this is a problem.
Yeah.
Because it like the way we communicate, the way we fought, like I rarely got apologies.
Yeah.
I got like, and I would normally just try to make stuff better just to make stuff better. And it was like every fight was never a open discussion of like, here, I'm a communicator. I'm somebody that loves to talk. And so like, let's talk it out. But like it turned in, everything was always kind of, not always, I don't want to say always, but like when it got bad. And so during the pandemic, he had like, I'm staying at my parents. He kind of wrote me back in and I found myself like drinking every night. I'd come home and like, I'd cry myself to sleep. And it just became this like day in, day out of exhaustion. And I woke up one day and I just called my mom and I said, I need to get out.
Yeah.
She said, okay. And she helped me find a place and I moved out and I lost my job 3 weeks later. And I was like, this is freaking awesome.
Hey.
We're just getting it done. We're just getting it done.
Get all the
Get all of it
pain.
out.
Yeah. And I feel like because I was just trying to like get another job and like stay in sports and do all of this stuff. And I was fighting an upward, fighting against the current when I was like not acknowledging that I had just gone through a buttload of trauma and I wasn't even trying to fix it. And like it kept getting worse. And then my uncle is a brain doctor. And so I got a brain scan. I've had my brain scanned my entire life. And
Hookup.
yeah.
Nice.
And
Call
so
him.
he looked at my brain, I think like 6 or 9 months later when I was like really struggling. It was like actually 2021. And I had signs of serious like brain damage. And that's like not physical damage,
Yeah.
but it's brain from trauma.
Yeah, it changes your brain.
And like he called me and was like, your brain shows serious signs of like PTSD. Like
Yeah.
what have you, and everybody assumed like have you, like, what did you go through that you're not telling us? And I was like, I left my 10-year relationship and I lost my job. What did you?
yeah.
that's enough for me. And they were
Yeah.
like, and so I got a therapist and have just been, the last 2 years was like just fixing my brain and, you know, undoing all of these subconscious, deeply rooted patterns and beliefs that I had and like just pulling them out and like,
Dude,
yeah.
So
So it's
often,
been-
so often people think like PTSD has to come from like war. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like that, like a major relationship that you put everything into and then had to leave traumatically, like isn't something major that takes time to process, you know? Like it really does.
And then your other safe stronghold, security,
Yeah.
bye.
Yeah, job.
You know, god dang.
And then I was like,
Dang.
money, I just need
Yeah,
money. I
yeah.
just need to like find, and then I
Ugh.
like found this nice little medium of finding a way to support myself financially, but then also getting to do the things that I love because I realized that being behind a desk every day is my worst nightmare.
So
you
which
know?
is what was the balance? What'd you get more time
I
to
work
do?
for myself now.
Yeah.
And I do, like, I help a lot of content creators, but I also do some sports. I do help some entertainment venues in the LA area.
Nice.
And so it's cool. I can make my own hours. I do what I want. I can post on TikTok if I want to post on TikTok and not have to worry about
A
you
corporate
know. I'm sure people
policy,
judge me
yeah.
for it, but I really don't.
Dude, live your
I
best life.
cannot
Yeah, you're
wait
killing
to
it.
get to your TikTok.
Please,
I'm
Yeah,
so
live your
excited.
best
I
life.
stopped for a minute and I need to start again. But like that was a great place of like solace for me during the quarantine was like,
That's why I got on TikTok.
I know.
I was alone
and
during the
you've blown
pandemic,
up
right?
and it's
Yeah.
amazing.
I love it. It's just lovely.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Ask you all a question. Like how do you deal with if you guys ever get like hate or negative any energy on your posts? Like do you ignore it? Do you not read your comments? Do you
I try not to read my comments that
Smart
much.
girl.
When I do scroll through them, sometimes it's on vulnerable posts, like if I'm talking about drug
Yeah.
problems or mental health. And so the comments on there really do like get to me. So I try not to do it. But then I get this surge of energy. Sometimes I respond to them and then have to delete it. But it's like it's not great for me. And it like
Yeah.
sits in my body the whole day. So I just try not to be a part of it. Like, you know, I
Good for you.
can't help but like let it sink in deep. So
Yeah, you've
I'm just gonna
reached out
stay.
to us on the group
I-
chat a few
yeah,
times when it
just-
gets really bad, and like I totally get it because I've learned over time to not respond to any of the fucking hate.
Yeah.
Even though they'll say things that hit me in my deepest wounds, you know, they hit me in the little voice that I talk shit to myself. They'll say the thing, and I'm like, "Huh!" And then of course sometimes you might get the reaction of like wanting to respond, and I've just learned over time, fuck that reaction. The online, that gets no energy. Only support gets energy.
Yeah.
That's it, because it grows. But it does get in there sometimes. I do read the comments a decent amount, not all of them, like not on every post, but I do read them. And sometimes, man, that little fucking, you know, they say like 1,000 good comments, but one bad one, it'll fucking hit, man. And I just have to like do the work to process. But I'm glad like when it's hitting you hard, like you reach out to us because
That's smart. That's really
I
smart.
get it. And I just have to like tell you like, dude, I love you.
Ignore
do
it.
not respond to these assholes.
Yeah.
Because also people who are spending their fucking time
Yeah.
watching your video and commenting bullshit.
and aren't even following you. How the hell did you find this?
I know.
Ariana, how did you get
But
it?
are probably
Ariana.
watching all of your
What
stories.
a lame, like what
Yeah.
a lame thing to be doing
Occupy your
in
time
your
with,
life.
yeah.
Like when I actually sit and when someone commented on older Ned's fucking TikTok telling him like he's a has-been or whatever, like
Oh no, really?
for real, yeah, but it's like,
Really? Come on.
but it, yeah, of course, but it's like,
Duh.
you're lame as fuck, man. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing with your time? Do something better with
Do
your time.
something
you sad
better.
fucks.
Yeah.
Does it hit you when you read the bullshit?
Not as much, man. I've tried to just tell myself, okay, when you post, you're posting for you. You felt like this was a good idea. It's your own approach. Put it out there in the universe and
agree.
let people provide the commentary. I think all the commentary is positive when you're trying to catalyze people to engage with your, product. So I try to just look at it like that. I'm not gonna let the hate do anything, to distract me from my goal, which is to entertain and,
Dude,
hopefully uplift.
dude, that has been a huge shift for me. Like when I wasn't just posting just to post, like now that we're like growing this podcast and my podcast growing up with Devon, and like now that like I'm and spreading my music, like now that I'm posting for a direction, I try and remind myself that like any comment is good. And honestly, the fact that there's some haters is, I have to remind myself like, that's good. I'm entering the online fucking cesspool. Like if I'm getting some hate, it means I'm out there in it.
Yeah.
And like, I know who the fuck I am now. Like I have to remind myself that anytime an ignorant comment gets to me, like, wait, I know who the fuck I am. And they would never say this shit in real life.
Face. Yo, the pressure, that human impulse to, or that human desire to be understood, it's so hard to kind of quell that and say, hey, you're not going to be understood all the time or by everybody.
Because you go, no.
But that's not
you
what
don't
I
understand.
meant.
You don't understand me.
And then they're just going to pick at that.
And then you go, wait, fuck you. I don't care if you understand me. You don't know me.
I posted because I'm trying to get my YouTube dusted off. So I posted a video and it was talking about
Dusted
off. And it was repurposing a TikTok that I made. And honestly, it was the one that blew up the most, which was shocking. But it's the 5 regrets of the dying. So this Australian nurse interviewed all of her dying patients and asked them what their biggest regrets in life were. And all it was here were the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I got a comment that was like, you might want to delete this, like it's really bad form. And I was like, fuck me, I can't even say anything to like be inspiring. Jesus Christ.
See, that is insane.
You might want to delete this.
I was trying to like make, and then like it blew up on TikTok because I think it blew up with like a lot of the elderly community because they were like, oh my God, thank you for the reminder. And it was like, I wish I let myself be happier. I wish I'd stayed in touch with my friends, you know? I wish I lived a life true to myself. And I was like, yo, you are going through something now.
Yeah, they're going to hate on anything.
But that's the fact of the internet. That's the fact of us being out there that we have to know when we're feeling some type of way about it. Is like, someone will hate on you for that.
Whatever.
Like the most positive.
Yeah, Mr. Beast gives $1 million to every homeless person he sees, and they're like, oh, what a jerk.
This bitch.
What?
I was like, F that. You're getting villain Jen from now on. Forget it. That was a week ago. So I literally was like, we're taking a turn. Never mind.
Villain Jen.
Not getting nice Jen anymore.
No, I can't.
I looked at her, I was like, aw, like, how could you have a problem with that?
No,
I said nothing problematic.
Because fuck them. I can't give these fucks, like, I can't adjust my creativity because of these sad little trolls in their little fucking basement being like, fucking me.
I didn't think anybody was going to see it. I was like, wow, all right, that's...
Dude,
not only did they see it, they were offended.
I posted...
Deeply offended.
I posted this, like, little fucking vibey, like, fisheye video for, like, one of my new songs, and I have my shirt off, and this motherfucker... I hate that I'm even giving them attention, but this motherfucker wrote, dude can't sing to save his life, but I'm here for the skin though. Like my shirt was off in it. And I was just like,
no way.
What a complex feeling that I'm having from this comment. Like I want to kill this person.
But thanks.
But thanks. But also get off my page, you bitch.
Bruh. But here's the other thing. The public forum. People want their comment to be laughed at by other people.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's almost like you've given yourself to the public and allowed yourself to be critiqued. Sometimes people are just in there to get their own, get their own rise out of people. And
that's
they'll
part
say
of
whatever to get the attention on them for that moment. And that's a beautiful thing you're doing for someone who's in a dark place. Because, hurt people.
Yeah.
You gotta help them from going out and stabbing somebody because they were able to talk crap on you.
Don't stab anyone, but fucking heal yourself, you bitch.
I can't believe somebody said that.
Yeah,
I mean,
I have saved many lives.
Stabbings have gone down since I've been on the internet.
Way down.
But it is also rough because there is a part of human nature, we know it's where gossip comes from, which is that like humans, there is a part of us that likes that easy arousal from hating on someone or something.
The herd mentality, the herd thing.
It's easy to bond around something negative, like shitting on someone. Like that is a part of our humanity that we have to work against because it's ugly.
It is.
Dang.
Jennifer, the time has gone too quickly. Like, I absolutely love you.
I miss seeing you guys. This is amazing.
Yes,
Yeah, thanks for bringing the real too. We love that.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
don't apologize.
okay.
I'm
Your
serious.
part
Yeah.
is so
All right.
bad. Like, that's so
All right.
interesting and like touches my heart.
I had
And
a
honestly-
panic attack over the last week about it. 'Cause I was
hell
like, what do I
no.
say?
No,
I don't know what
girl.
to say.
I hope I didn't stress you when I hit you up. I was like, hey, you
No,
want to
you made, honestly, I really thought.
So
Okay, what were you going to say before I go on?
Oh,
Go on.
no, tell us.
I was just going to say, it was kind of left an open-ended question for me. Like I had no idea what happened or why I wasn't written into the third season, and people ask me all the time. That's the
And I didn't
one
even
question
recall.
I
I
go.
didn't
I didn't even remember that, to be honest. So I have no idea.
Yeah.
Why it happened.
So and I don't know what to say, so I never
Yeah.
respond. But like, that was the best thing you could have done
Aw.
was to reach out to me because it was a
Oh.
nice, like, really
You're a
big
pivotal
full
character.
circle
You're in the
moment
title
for me.
sequence. Like, you're a
I know.
huge
truly,
part.
I actually forgot that you guys weren't in the third season. I truly think it was they like added Evelyn. They added a female
another-
bully antagonist who became love interest for him. My
Cookie
guess
instead.
is like
Oh,
they
your
just,
story
like-
arc, because your love for
Ah.
her.
and then my love was
It was
her,
with Susie, too
Like I
convoluted.
feel like
And
they just like
Loomer kind
Yeah.
of
evolved
from the
yeah, I
the
feel
bully.
like they just lost the place for you guys
Yeah.
and didn't have enough space to give you an arc.
But
that would be my guess.
That's soul shattering.
Funny,
at the
that's
time.
also what
That's-
happened to me on 90210. They like brought somebody else in, and like at a time when like ET or somebody did this like bit on 90210 and how skinny the stars were, and that people were getting fired for being too fat. And I was like,
my God,
no.
I can't
Jennifer!
win, man. I can't win. And the thing is, like, I wasn't, and it's probably not
Industry's
true, but
messed
like
up.
in
Ruthless.
my head.
This
So
is
you had
ruthless.
multiple love interests then. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember we had a kiss on set? You don't remember.
I don't.
Ooh, which episode was that?
I remember.
Sorry, I don't remember so
remember.
much of Neds. So much of Neds is just like a blur.
I remember because I was like, oh man, this why that you were my first kiss, by the way.
Oh, we've had so many
It's
first
happened
kisses.
again!
Mine with Evelyn? That's
No.
I chewed so much cinnamon gum that day, and I don't even know why. I tried to be different. I was like, who wants wintergreen?
Oh,
Yeah, no, yeah,
I
winter
love
fresh,
you.
screw
You
that.
brought the red hot spice.
No, it was I
Uh-huh.
was tricking you to kiss me. It was like it was some
Right.
gag. It was
Yeah.
like something with the locker, and then I like put lemon juice in your mouth and then,
Oh,
like
to make 'em pucker
to
up.
make
I
'em
do
pucker
remember
up.
this.
And then I like kissed
do
you, and I
remember
was
this.
like, I remember it was the season premiere of like the
Second
second
season?
one.
Wow.
Can't wait to
And
watch
I
this.
like all day I was panicked. I was like, oh my god, this is not what I-
Oh.
No, it was fine.
I can't wait
we
to
did
watch
it fine.
this.
No, yeah,
you're
no,
gonna
it
be
was
like,
amazing. Wow,
Dude, it's so good to see you.
great.
Like,
Thank
and,
you.
and
So good to
honestly,
see you.
like,
Thank you.
like, don't have any noise about
please.
like
This has been
literally
amazing.
like we love catching up with everyone from the show and hearing the
All
real
the
man. We all
experiences.
lived
It's
real
been
life.
amazing.
Like,
that's all we wanted. Yeah.
No,
It's
you're
been
good.
amazing to watch you guys, like, and your pod. I've been
Thanks.
watching it. It's really well done, and to
Hey.
watch how many people watch you guys on a weekly basis.
It's cool.
and that
Yeah,
many
we
years
love you
later,
fans out there.
is absolutely insane.
It's
and
so
so cool to watch, and it's
So
so
cool.
cool to see all of you guys talking
Yeah.
about your journey. And
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank
and
you so
too.
much.
And I
Yeah.
think the audience is already going to get a lot from what you've shared truly, but we do like to leave everyone with a tip at the end of the episode. So, do you have a tip for our listeners?
my legal tip would be shut the fuck up.
Hard to do on a
Literally
podcast.
Nice.
Say less.
Nice.
We're
Say
fucked,
less.
guys. We're fucked.
I'm sorry, I keep cussing.
You good?
No is a full sentence would be my personal tip.
Ooh.
Damn.
You owe nobody any explanation.
girl.
Ooh.
My tip would be to check out Jennifer on where can you find her?
Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
Jennifer
if you type
Tedmori?
in Jennifer Tedmori, it'll pop up, or Miss Rockdoll on all my
Miss
socials.
We'll link
Rockdoll.
you.
It was
We'll
my
link you with that.
MySpace name, and I just
Miss
refuse to give it
Rockdoll.
up. I don't know. It's the stupidest thing ever. I
love
need to
it.
just rebrand it, but
This is what I was going to say.
good
Go
brand.
look. Go watch Jennifer's podcast. You have a podcast.
I just
And
started
she just
it.
did
Okay.
hot ones too. It's
I
funny.
did the Hot
So-
Ones challenge 3 times.
What's the podcast?
I haven't decided to title it yet.
Oh,
okay.
you're like literally birthing it right
I'm
now.
birthing
She's
it.
been
right
posting
now.
like snippets though
I've been
online.
posting like it looks really cool. I'm
That's
super
what it-
I
yeah.
can't
The
wait.
lighting's amazing.
What's the theme? What are you doing?
So I think at the basis of it, mental health seems to be very prominent in
Yeah.
all of these, but because I wear many different hats,
Yeah.
sports, actors, musicians,
Dude.
lawyers, they're all going to be
Yeah.
in. I had one former Major League Baseball agent, and now a criminal law attorney to some of the best rappers in the game. We had a 3-hour-long conversation.
Wow.
He gave some great tips for like how to not get a DUI or things that you don't say when you're getting a
Too late.
Like, so
Amazing.
Wow.
yeah.
Dude,
So we got all of it.
Let us know when you have a name for it, and we'll
For sure.
Yeah,
I would love that.
Totally. I love that.
You got a tip, Dandy?
Oh, tip. The tip would be don't listen to the noise. Okay, present yourself in the public forum how you'd like to. Don't try not to offend people, but say your truth. And people should not be shamed for telling their truth.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Cool. My tip is wherever you are in your journey, like we're all here and now, and you can't really help what maybe insecurities and kind of fucking hangups and bullshit you pick up from when you were a kid and from the shit your parents said to you and from the shit teachers said to you. Like, we all arrive to our kind of more individual adulthood with some of this fucking shit. Body image shit. I'm not smart enough. I'm not this. I'm not that. But like, you're here now, and the journey of your adulthood is however you got here, you can't change that shit. But start to love yourself, whatever work that takes, whatever therapy, whatever fucking classes, whatever sitting alone in a room by yourself, just letting yourself feel all the things you need to feel. Like, we all deserve as adults to let go of those fucking hangups and just like be you, man. Just get here with us so that you can live your life, because there's a lot of good shit out there.
Yeah. And
Okay.
we all deserve a narrative that is not solely based on trauma.
Yes, even the healing of the trauma, that like your whole thing is the healing of,
It's your
like, you
persona.
deserve to
Preach.
move beyond that phase as well. So we love you, listeners. Thank you for loving our pod. Thanks for helping us stay in the top 10 of TV and film podcasts on Spotify.
Yeah.
Sometimes number 1.
Pretty consecutively. There you go.
Yeah, we love you. Follow, subscribe, check out Jennifer on all the things. Fucking
Oh,
great
you're
to see you.
amazing.
Thanks for
You
coming
too.
in,
Thank
man.
you.
What a blessing.
Hey.
See you next week.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching this
Thank
week's
you.
episode, and thank you to our patrons.
Yes.
Patreon.com/NedsPod. We love you. We do bonus content, live streams, and you guys help keep this show going. If you want to join, check us out.
Yes.
And big shout out to our super friends.
Hey.
Put a Super Friends dance. It's a
Super Friends dance.
Super Friends dance. And a big shout out to our super duper
Super
friends.
duper friends. Okay, we starting out with Legendary XAK.
And we got Rebecca Saletti.
Let's go, Becca.
And Eve.
Thank you guys. We love you.
Super friends dance.
We'll see you on the live stream.
Thank you, Super Duper Friends.
Back it up here.
Hey, thanks so much for watching this episode of Neds Declassified Podcast Survival Guide. If you can't get enough of us in your life, go over to the Neds Pod Clips YouTube for shorter content. And if you really can't get enough of us, go join our Patreon now for exclusive bonus weekly content, live streams, all that. We'll put the link in the description. See you next week.